It's a normal symptom of feeling overworked, underappreciated, and going nowhere. Burnout in the workplace is experienced by millions at some point in their career. Well, back with some excellent ways of finding renewed purpose is Sneha Mandala, speaker and consultant on work culture and peak performance. Thanks so much for coming back. And yes, peak performance. We all want to feel that we're at the top of our game, but at some point or another, we all kind of experience the workplace blues. So how do you go about combating that?
Yeah, and burnout not only leads to mental decline, research says that it leads to physical decline as well. It increases the risk of weight gain and smoking and drinking habits. So how do we maintain peak performance by reducing our burnout?
Yes.
The answer is by being in a flow state. What psychologists call as a flow state is basically experiencing a peak state of mind. You have a heightened state of focus and very deep engagement on a particular task or activity. You're so absorbed in that activity that you lose sense of time, sense of your surroundings, that inner critic, that self-doubting, nagging thing inside, you lose that as well.
It's so interesting. It's a good day when you go to work and before you know it, it's 5 o'clock and you really feel like you accomplished a lot. You've done your very best, and it's true. Your vibration, your energy, it just you feel different when you're that much more productive. So I think what a lot of people are wondering though is how do they get to that place? What are some exercises or what's some mental work that you can do to get in that zone?
I love this question because a lot of leaders and employees have reached out and said, I have experienced a flow state before. You know, people call it different things. I've been in the zone, I've been in the groove, and just like you shared, when time's up at my work day and I'm feeling completely productive, you feel like you're on the top of the game. But they realize that they have been in the flow state after the flow state has passed. So how do you intentionally get into a flow state? And I would say there are two factors that can help you with that. The first one is whatever you're working on, you need to have an intense burning drive for it. You need to be internally motivated to do that task. That means the task, the activity in and of itself is rewarding to you. You're not waiting for a reward at the end of the task. You're thoroughly enjoying it. And this is the thing that self-help books always talk about. Oh, do what you love and everything will magically fall into place. Right. However, that doesn't complete the equation. Doing what you love simply is not going to be enough to get into a flow state. So the second factor is authenticity. So imagine you're a painter and you love doing watercolor paintings. You're a world famous artist. I'm a client, I come to you and say, Layla, could you do that painting but not use watercolors, use oil paints instead? Don't sit in your home studio, come paint at my home studio instead. Don't take 20 days time, finish it in 10 days time. There's all these restrictions that typically happen in a regular workplace that make you feel like, oh, I cannot be myself. I'm out of my element. I cannot do it in my most natural, effortless way. So you need to feel authentic. You need to feel real when you're doing that task. You're not only doing what you love, you should be doing it in the way that you love to do it. So drive and authenticity, these two factors will create the perfect conditions for you to intentionally get into a flow state. And there's a lot of research that once you get into a flow state, your productivity can increase for up to 5 times. And you have this addictive sense of joy that can reduce burnout.
And you have also personal experiences when I've taken kind of ownership over my space. So I'm there for a reason, I'm there for a purpose, and everything else is just sort of external. So once I've kind of created that ownership over my comings and goings and what the task is, I feel like that also raises the accountability on what my own personal expectation is. And that helps drive me, I feel like.
Absolutely, and that is why managers stand to benefit from getting their employees into a flow state, because they see employees finding their purpose and performing at their peak without burnout, it bottom line helps the company's profits and its results. So I work with managers to help their employees get into a flow state intentionally at work.
I love talking with you because you're so inspiring, and I think a lot of people who watch this, who are in a place in their career, just wondering, what am I here for? You've just given so many wonderful answers, and I think we can all apply it to our everyday work life. I want to thank you again, Sneha, so much. We're going to put up on our screen where people can find more information on you and your TED Talks as well. Can't wait to have you back. We're going to be back in 2 minutes.